AM Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, MD, Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, MD.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, I think we're here. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AM Impact on Your Health. A little bit of trouble with some dials, and hey, one line was out. Found it, plugged it in. I hope you're enjoying to spend some time with us here on a Friday. It is a get 'em up at a time version of the show. It is AM Impact on Your Health, of course. Every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. Of course, we're heard here each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney. And I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. AM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and of course, where we do encourage you to call in to join in today. Well, as a Friday version of the show, and in keeping with what we usually like to do around here, is allow you to participate. Call up, find out, let's find out what's on your mind. We've brought you a lot of information over these past many days and weeks. It's been stewing a while. Maybe some pressure's been building up. You got to release it, folks. Give us a call. Let's find out what's on your mind with respect to anything that we may have said. We'll be hitting a couple topics today in the news, weekly roundup, health roundups from worldwide publications. Help to get us started. And you can take over anytime you want by giving us a call at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. Now, the calendar is really shaping up now since I last spoke with you. We got some other people I've inked and brought on and will be coming to us in the month of September. Of course, we're going into a long weekend. On Monday, we will not do a live show. Instead, and I hope Bill's paying attention here, instead, we're going to repeat the July 8th show. And the reason we're going to do that is it is the part one of the Salting Your Way to Health programs that we're bringing to you by virtue of going over the work of Dr. David Brownstein. Now, David is going to be our guest on the 16th, in which we're going to go over part two of Salting Your Way to Health and concluding this discussion, literally from one of the books written by David. So I thought it would be appropriate on the Monday show. It will not be live, but we're going to repeat the July 8th show on Salting Your Way to Health with Dr. David Brownstein in anticipation for his return with us on the 16th, where we're going to do the part two component. I know it's been a while. That's July 8th until the 16th of September, so I'm sure there's a lot of clouds that have formed, certainly have formed in my own mind, maybe in your own too. So see if we can help clear things up for the arrival of David on the 16th. On the 7th, talking about Dr. Susan Smith-Jones, will be back with us. Dr. Jones is Going to be talking about spices that heal. We had an interesting show, did we not, on sprouts just Wednesday. And I've got all that data there about phone numbers and so forth that she gave you to procure the seeds. Just for the heck of it, handypantry.com was the name of the website that she gave us to be able to get all the organic seeds that you need to do sprouting. And once again, the phone number, if those of you who are listening out there want to be able to get to do that develop sprouts in your own kitchen, but don't have a computer access, the 800 number is 1-800-735-0630. That's the Handy Pantry. Okay. Now, MCG testing. Look, we'll be calling those of you who were participating and are participating in MCG testing, but the company has had a delay on getting us a device, okay? And by doing this, it's put a real hamper on our ability to comply with the September 8th testing date. If you were one of those patients that signed up for the September 8th date, we will be getting in contact with you to reschedule it. We're going to have to reschedule it because the device has not been released. And until we have it, we can't do the testing. So I told you there was something in the offing. I didn't think we were going to be coming to this. I thought we'd be able to get the device. It is not. It'll be scheduled some other time in September. We'll let you know personally. Of course, I'll let you know on the air, too. But I wanted to make certain, because this is only recent information, as late as yesterday afternoon, we finally found out that we're going to have a hitch here. And we'll get it straightened out, and it will be in the month of September, and we'll get it redone and rescheduled, doing it person by person. We'll call you. If you have a mind, you can call us, too. But nonetheless, I just wanted to make sure I made the announcement today. Now, the new sign-up here, and I think you're going to enjoy him. I've heard this gentleman on a number of other talk radio shows that he does throughout the country. He actually lives in and around New York City, but that's not where he's from, folks. He's from something about Soviet Union that we've been hitting a lot of with Dr. Michael Kiriak. Now we have Konstantin Monastersky. I hope I got the name right. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Konstantin Monastersky. He is an expert on all things gut related, and I've been fascinated by how well he does on this topic. And I was so fascinated, I figured out a way to run him down, and he was so gracious enough to spend some time with me on the phone just the other day on Wednesday. So he's going to be coming aboard with us for 2 shows back to back. It's been a while since we really done a show on gut issues per se, and when we have an expert available to us to discuss these matters, I thought it was appropriate to do things back to back. So on the 12th and the 14th, Konstantin Monastersky, I think I got the name right, is going to be talking to us on these gut issues. If you wanted to sort of get a little preliminary information on him, you can go to his website at gutsense.org and know quite a bit about him before he ever arrives. He's got a fascinating story on how he emigrates here and how he gets into the health industry that he's firmly entrenched in today, and he takes a very circuitous route that it usually is the case, by the way. One's own health status leads him to finding out and reading and doing investigation, and voila, there you have it. A new career is born. So based on a personal need, his own personal health, he's evolved to be quite an expert on gut issues. That's going to be September 12th to 14th. Of course, as I already mentioned, David Brownstein returns on the 16th for what will become part 2 of Salting Your Way to Health. And then, by the way, I noticed I put a little note here for my own sake. I've jotted down the webinar that Dr. Susan Smith-Jones was talking to us about during the show on Wednesday, where she's going to be doing a webinar with a collaboration with some other participants on weight loss. And folks, if you ever want to get a look at this young lady, she's going to be doing this at a webinar at 2 o'clock on September 16th, that Friday. And so if you want to sign up to be invited to go and spend some time, I think it's a 60-minute program. You'll need to go to her website, susansmithjones.com, and as she said, you have to click on newsletter, and you'll get the most recent newsletter, the one she supposedly just put up on Wednesday morning, very early in the morning out there on the West Coast. And then once you get the newsletter, about the third paragraph down, just like she said, there is a little write-up about the webinar, and click on it. And once you do, they'll give you the opportunity to plug in your name, your email address, and you'll be invited. And we can all do this together on the 16th, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it should be interesting, very interesting. Then, in the week of, we're going to do an entire week with this guy. I know that when we finally introduce him to you, you'll understand what I'm saying in terms of a unique personality, a unique speaking voice. He'll get, I hope not, but he'll get under your skin. He's so abrasive, but he's so loaded with facts with respect to the fats, the fatty acids, the fish oil stuff, the parent oils, and as much information as we've been conveying to you on the issue in this subject to bring the expert here, and he truly is the expert, a graduate of MIT in all things considered, electrical engineering. So I'll let him describe how it is that an electrical engineer, MIT graduate, gets so involved with health issues, in particular, goes into the literature and finds out this accurate information with respect to fats. And then we just piggyback right on the back of Edward Kane and the information he was bringing to us, and the two jive. The two informations jive because they are scientifically accurate. I know it's blowing a hole in maybe your dietary supplemental regimes, especially if you've been grasping onto fish oil, and more than likely you have, because most of your clinicians, including myself, were placing you on the stuff. Well, as you should now know, that's really obsolete and potentially harmful. Our approach to essential fatty acid replacements is no longer these very concentrated forms of omega-3s, whereas fish oil being primarily comprised of EPA and DHA. Very potent, very high-dose omega-3s that just the body can't handle. The body can't metabolize them. There is no metabolic pathway to do so. And if there is no metabolic pathway, by the way, I think this is a premise right out of the Brian Peskin manual. If there is no metabolic pathway, then there is no way for your body to handle it. And there is no metabolic pathway for you to metabolize the EPA, DHA, and then because of it, it becomes a problem, folks. So now with this 4-to-1 ratio that we've learned from Yehuda and that Edward Kane brought to us way back a couple of months ago, we know that the appropriate ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s is in this ratio of 4-to-1 of omega-6s to omega-3s. The representative of the omega-6s should be a parent oil consisting of either sunflower or primrose, and there are others, other parent oils. And then on the omega-3 side, it should consist of the parent oils of flaxseed, which is one of the best representatives. But it should be in that ratio, and it must be, the key is it must be the parent oils, no derivatives, nothing like jumping up to EPA and DHA. Your body could just not handle it. Okay. Let's see, that pretty much describes that month, and if anything else fills up, I'll certainly add to it as we start to put together the month of October. Way, way far away. Won't even mention it at all today. Okay. Product-wise, RTD dressings are here. You won't be able to get them any other place, but just there is no way for the distributor to have a relationship to all the clinicians out there. We just happen to stumble into a relationship with a distributor, and based on a favor to me, they sold me a case of these things. We got them here. If you're diabetic, you're going to need to want to have these on hand in your medicine cabinet should you ever develop a wound of any type. This kind of impregnated antimicrobial substance contained within the very dressing itself is the key to correcting some pretty serious wounds that I saw presented to me as an example of how effective these dressings are. We would never want any wound that you might develop to ever progress to that level and order of magnitude. We have 3 products, the bioengineered algae concentrate available here. you want the F3. They make 3 versions of the product, F1, F2, and F3. F3 is the most concentrated form of this algae concentrate, and the highest degree, the highest amount is found in the F3 product. And, of course, it has every single vitamin, mineral, enzyme, amino acid, as well as all the essential fatty acids. Never really seen a supplement contain so much in such a small little capsule, which, as an algae, a plant, a one-cell plant, is fully assimilable. It's grown organically in hydroponic ponds in Siberia. You've heard the story many times. And that product is here also. Okay, let's do this. Let's take a short break. When we return, you can consider giving a knock on the door. We're going to go into some weekly health roundups from around the world. Some interesting medical issues that have surfaced that I think I'll bring to your attention. In the interim, you may want to call up and find out and tell us what's on your mind. 412-825-6262 is the number to do that. That's 412-825-6262. Be back in a moment.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Want to help your family eat healthier? Instead of learning to disguise tofu in wondrous ways, how about some real nutritional power? If your family has the typical American palate for fries, pizza, and burgers, giving your family the blessing of good nutrition is a struggle. Fruit of the Spirit is the answer for your family's nutritional needs. Fruit of the Spirit is an all-natural, whole fruit puree made from fresh fruits native to the Holy Land with alkalizing minerals. Fruit of the Spirit was 5 years in the formulation, the work of a team of top nutritional experts with independent science to confirm its antioxidant power. 1 ounce a day provides the equivalent of 5 servings of fruits and minerals. Fruit of the Spirit is convenient, affordable, and delicious. Even your picky family will sing the praises of Fruit of the Spirit. Give your loved ones the blessing of good nutrition. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. That's 1-800-442-3793. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Heard here on KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you today on a Friday version of the show. Yes, it is a get-em-up-out-of-town version of the show. It's an open phone day. You can call up with any questions you may have or direct to me. I often say that if I don't know the answer, and oftentimes I don't, someone out there who listens to us also does hear you, and usually it takes a minute or two before we do get a response. We've had some great advice brought to you by virtue of our listeners who are the best doggone listeners in the country. I know, I listen to shows that are going on all over the country, and you're as educated as they come, folks. Now, we like to do every so often is to go through the world literature out there in the various health publications and find out what's going on, what's in the news. We call it a weekly health news roundup. I give you the name of the publication, the author, where to go find out more if you'd like to, and just let's see what's happening and percolating out there. One of the things that comes to my attention today that I bring to you is out of nothing other than WebMD, Better Information on Health. This is put together by Daniel J. Denoon. He's a WebMD health news reporter. This is August 11th, the byline on this one. The FDA has approved Gilead's, that's the name of a company, by the way, drug called Complera. Gilead's Complera joins Atripia as the only one-a-day complete HIV treatment pill. Now, I didn't know we had progressed this far, folks. I know that tremendous amount of resources is put into various IV forms of treatment for the fully afflicted with this terrible disease called HIV. Still a onerous disease, high mortality. We just don't hear as much as we did in the 1980s and 1990s, but it is still a real difficult disease to treat. And to hear now that they have a new entrance into the one-a-day tablet to take, this Complera is a combination of a couple of other substances, the name of which it's not really important. One of the ingredients called Truvada has been around since 2004, a popular component of so-called AIDS drug cocktails are combinations of HIV therapies. The first single tablet regimen for HIV is the same company's substance called Atripia, which was approved by the FDA in 2006. Yet another single pill treatment from Gilead, the 4-ring quad, is in advanced clinical trials. It's another drug that's around the corner. A lot of work going into AIDS research and new medications for those afflicted with AIDS. Just thought I'd pass that one on to you. Here's a neat one. Baby gender blood tests. This one ought to rock your world. Turns out there is such a thing. I thought the way this was supposed to, well, the old days was you just waited, nobody knew, and then you found out at the delivery. Then we got into sonograms where it could be pretty accurately determined as early as well within the first trimester. Now, do it at home. Let's see what you mean. This comes out of the BBC News. It's an August 9th, 2011 update from Michelle Roberts, health reporter for BBC News. Goes like this, folks. Parents to be wanting to find out their baby's gender can be assured that a blood test on the mother gives accurate results, say scientists. The tests, which look for fetal DNA in the mother's blood, are sold privately in many countries, including the UK. Yet few studies until now have scrutinized how well they perform. U.S. experts examined over 6,000 test results and found it was reliable 98% of the time, providing it was used after the 7th week of pregnancy. Anything earlier than this made the test unreliable, the Journal of the American Medical Association reports. And urine-based tests appear to be unreliable altogether, so it has to be a blood test. Routine ultrasound scan of babies can only give a gender prediction of at about 12 weeks. For couples who need to know the sex of their child for medical reasons, to see if their baby might be affected by genetic disorders that affect only boys, for example, this wait can be too long. And so for that reason, Dr. Stephanie Devaney, who led the work at the National Institute of Health in Bethesda, said blood tests could be used in clinical studies to aid early detection. Some hospitals like Great Ormond Street already use them. There must be a British hospital. I'm not familiar with it here at all. And could help male babies that could have hemophilia, help detect them at least. So what do you think? There is concern out there. There are certain countries, obviously, that, especially those that are practicing, I think China is where you, the law states you're only allowed to have one child per family. And in those cultures where there's a premium, unfortunately, placed on male children, there is a lot of infanticide and abortion going on in those countries. So if there's a blood test that's available to allow them to early detect, there is a fear, and it is a legitimate fear, that this kind of testing would not be great to put in the hands of people who have a stake in learning the sex of their child strictly for purposes of knowing if this is male or female, to make a decision as to whether or not they're going to allow this to go to term based on the sex alone. Be a bad thing. Nonetheless, science moves on. The blood tests are available, at least in the UK for now. I haven't heard of any such blood tests being available here in the United States, but so be it. Now, how about this one? This is also on the BBC News, and it's flatlined in August. The reporter here is Katia Moskovich, technology reporter. A new antimicrobial treatment, new solution, can help permanently get rid of germs. There's a new antimicrobial treatment that can make clothing, including the smelly socks, they say, permanently germ-free, and has been developed by U.S. scientists. The spray-on solution can be applied to existing garments, according to the team from the University of Georgia. It is designed to offer low-cost protection for healthcare facilities such as hospitals. It's a these chemical impregnated materials already exist, but have to be added during the manufacturing process. So they do make garments and gowns that are impregnated with substances that are antimicrobial, but we're talking now about a spray. This little thing you squirt on. The new solution can be applied to natural and synthetic textiles, including clothes, carpets, shoes, and even plastics. In a paper published in the American Chemical Society Journal, Applied Materials and Interfaces, that's the name of the journal, Dr. Jason Laughlin and his colleagues state that the treatment kills a wide range of dangerous pathogens, including staph, strep, E. coli, pseudomonas, and acetinobacteria. Many of these can cause disease, break down fabrics, create stains, and produce odors. When scientists tested the product, they found that a single application was enough to stop all further bacterial growth up to 37 degrees Celsius. And the solution does not degrade after multiple hot water laundry cycles. Will you rush out to purchase the product when it becomes available to you? Will it be available to you? Don't know, but it's out there in the arena. The product, I'm sure you'll be hearing more about it as time moves on. Let's do this. Take a short break. When we return, more things in the news worldwide. We're going to be talking about something called Manuka honey. Could help fight superbugs. Talking about organisms this morning and how to wipe them out, folks. Let's see what the Manuka honey can do in that regard. Be back in a moment. See you then.
Courtney, MD. You become confused about how best to manage your health. It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you were looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Have you been to the doctor lately? Was fatigue top of your complaint list? Even if your doctor asks you what you eat, the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is a dream in your busy schedule. What if you learned of a product 5 years in the formulation that delivers 5 servings of fruits and minerals in just 1 ounce? That's right, it's Fruit of the Spirit. The blessings of Fruit of the Spirit are now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith, but Fruit of the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Fruit of the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugars. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health here on a Friday morning version of the show. It is a Friday morning version, as we normally like to have them. It is a Get 'em Up Out of Town version of the show, where we allow you to come on in and set the agenda. Any question, any comment you'd like to make is okay with me. The number to do that is 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. Listen for the knock on the door, and I'll let you in the store. We'll find out what's on your mind. Question or comment, any way you want to phrase it is okay with me. While I was off air, I was looking at a number of a lot of papers in front of me, folks, and one of them sort of was my little checklist of a number of phrases that I wanted to make sure that I got across to you as I spoke, and have spoken many times now, on the issue of these fish oils. I know I've caused a major controversy out there. It's not unusual to me. It happens all the time. But I was just going down through a list of these things, and I'm wondering if these are salient points that you've captured in all this discussion, all this fervor that has surfaced around the fish oil issue with respect to the negative contribution that fish oil brings. It brings a bunch of negative and very little, if any, positive. So let's see, if I go down from my list, let's see if these are facts that have come across, because I certainly have put down a list that I hope to be able to get across to you. I just wonder how you feel about it. Fish oil, certainly not the only way to get omega-3s. What's all the mania? How about this? No study was ever done to scientifically determine the physiological doses of EPA and DHA. If you think about that, that's a pretty bad start for EPA and DHA, which are these two main ingredients in fish oil. And really, it sort of just happened. 1970-ish, 1980-ish, appears that Scandinavian countries got involved with a resource in their backyard called the sea, and so they played upon a rational thought, which was, hey, if we have so much omega-6 in our diet, shouldn't we want to balance it out with an adequate amount of omega-3s? And what better to do that than these excellent omega-3s found in fish oil, namely EPA and DHA? And I think that it was a supplement industry that got this started. It certainly wasn't the scientific industry, and it was not the medical industry at all. It was a commercial venture. It made sense. There were pretty boats floating around in the Norwegian seas that created imagery that was very good imagery. Nonetheless, no scientifically determined physiological doses were entertained at the time. So there we got the EPA and DHA coming at us. As best that you can tell, one day they just said that fish oil is the way to go to get your fatty acids and to balance out this overabundance of omega-6s. Now, fish oil, and here are the bunch of those, and I gave you the article and the publication that these facts were borne out in when I said it does not, fish oil does not decrease inflammation. It is anti-inflammatory, but it doesn't decrease inflammation. It just shuts down inflammation, and that is not a good thing to do. Inflammation is not a bad thing. There are times when you need it. There are times when you don't. But to completely cancel out the ability for inflammation to occur, is not physiologically beneficial, at least in my estimation. Next fact. It does not, talking about EPA and DHA now, it does not prevent or reverse heart disease. So this came out in a study that I brought to your attention about a week ago when I had mentioned to you that a study done right here at the University of Pittsburgh School of Public Health with women who were diabetics. Now, if there ever is a group of people who have concerns about cardiovascular disease, it would be the diabetic population. And in that study, done last year, in 2010, and it was presented at the American Diabetic Association's scientific meeting, it was clear that there is no benefit, there was no reversal or prevention or decrease or diminishing or anything with respect to heart disease by taking fish oils at high amounts of EPA and DHA. It decreases the immune response. Well, that's what we're talking about when we say that it shuts down inflammation. And that is an immune response. And it is an appropriate immune response. And anytime you shut something down, there is a consequence to pay for that shutdown. You don't ever want to shut it down. You want to have inflammation available if it needs to be put in play. And pro-inflammation, anti-inflammation and pro-inflammation via the eicosanoids, which are big players in the prostaglandin milieu. The prostaglandins are your body's way of switching on and turning off the inflammation component of your immune system, and it is very much involved with the eicosanoids. EPA is one of them. Remember, there was arachidonic acid and DGLA, which was another one. There are three main eicosanoids. Okay, let's see. Creates an imbalance in the brain by providing such a distorted super amount of omega-3 derivatives. The imbalance does occur because your body being assaulted with high levels of EPA and DHA that it can't handle. It's going to be, no matter where the tissue, going to have a difficult time of being taken up appropriately in the appropriate amount. You're supposed to have such a minimal amount, a smidgen of EPA, and you're taking massive doses of EPA in the form of fish oils. This imbalance, this completely distorted amount of EPA, is going to have a consequence to it, and I'm afraid the consequence is it's going to alter the construct of the cell membrane. And the cell membrane, folks, is made up only of omega-6s. There are no omega-3s in cell membrane construction. If you only provide the body with the omega-3s, it will then be the only product that the membrane can use to repair itself and to generate new cell membrane, and it will then incorporate these higher level derivatives into the cell membrane, which is an absolute no-no, and you don't want to do it. Yet you will end up doing it if you continually bombard the body with these massive, massive doses of EPA and DHA. Hey, we have a knock at the door. Come on in the store. Hello and welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
Hey, Mr. Science. You're an engineer, aren't you?
I'm a chemist.
Okay, well...
I are not an engineer.
Okay. I thought maybe you're going to appreciate Brian Peskin anyway when he comes on board. But I was thinking...
Oh, I appreciate every expert you bring on the show.
Yeah.
And I compliment you also for always opening the forum to new ideas, even though they may even...
rock the boat a bit, huh?
Yeah, rock the boat. It goes against some of the parameters that we thought we established. Okay, and now that the temple is coming down here, but I reviewed a few of my texts, and I have to admit that some of the studies are dated, but this anti-inflammation ordeal, I do believe you have to strike a balance. I believe there's when they talk about inflammation, how many experts out there actually admit that inflammation has a positive side? It's because it's trying to tell somebody that their pain and agony and distress is a good thing.
No, but it does. But there are other ways to get the inflammation dealt with without overstacking the deck. In other words, if you're going to deal with inflammation by taking an overabundance of a material you can't handle, then you've done it in a wrong way. So if you're a person and you have, let's say, joint pain, and I think this is a common reason that people do take fish oils, because they have joint pain. And they actually will tell you they feel better by taking the fish oil to alleviate the pain. And so, in a way, they're saying, hey, I love this stuff. This is wonderful for me.
Well,
Yet,
it's better than an NSAID.
Okay.
You think?
Well, it certainly is. And so, but isn't that terrible to have to compare a fish oil, a natural product, to an NSAID, because they're both having deleterious consequences to the putting out of the fire. Better that it be put out, you'll get as much fire put out by taking the right oils as you will by taking the wrong. It's just you don't know it yet. In other words, if you have the joints and they're inflamed, and so for 30 years now you've been hearing how fish oil would be so wonderful to take, to be able to put out that flame, and you're lucky enough to have the flame put out by the fish oil, you think this is the greatest thing given to you since sliced bread. Yet, the
Let's go back to Dale Alexander. He used to be called the Codfather.
The Codfather. I don't know Dale Alexander.
You don't know him?
Share him with me. Go ahead.
Okay.
With us.
Well, the only thing is, I think you were referring to how did the supplement industry invent? It's sort of, you alluded to the fact that they had a resource called the ocean or sea, and they had a lot of this oil.
Well, these fish swimming around, yeah.
And and lo and behold, somebody got the idea how to, sort of like a snake oil salesman. Hey, we have a resource here. But the fact of it is, I mean, even when you Google these anti-inflammatories, you come up with thousands of studies.
Oh, there you go. Let me say this.
Okay.
You've heard me mention it. I'm going to bring it right on back because I know Peskin will do this. You have to do. I now do what Peskin has urged me to do, and I urge you to do the same. And that is, you should be distinguishing between a study and an experiment. Can we talk about the two differences between the two? I'll just briefly, for everybody else's benefit, in case maybe even you missed it. But a study doesn't mean anything. To me now, as I look at the literature, I'm going to scrutinize what I read, and I'm going to try to determine if what I'm reading is a study or is it an experiment. And here's the difference. The experiment, which is the epitome of which you can take home and trust, is when you have only one parameter that changes. Let's say you have a group of people that have a certain problem, certain disease, a certain symptom. You take 2,000 of them, and you give half of the people a substance, and the other people a placebo or something else, okay? But certainly nothing that has any therapeutic value to it at all. And then you wait and you see if they get better or if they don't. In experiments which run by changing one parameter in known physiological mechanisms, metabolic pathways are already established, you can trust the information that comes to you from an experiment. By the same token, you cannot trust, I now agree with the people who pointed this out to me, anything that comes out of a study, because the conclusions that are drawn have no basis in scientific fact. You can't believe some of these conclusions. I remember already mentioning on the air how you could conclude that a bunch of men who were at Harvard awakening in the morning for the sun rising at 6:30 in the morning could easily have interpreted the study as that it only happens if you're going to Harvard, meaning the sun coming up, okay? If you did a study, you could be left with the conclusion that the sun only arises at 6:30 if you go to Harvard, because if you're at the University of Pennsylvania, it doesn't rise at 6:30. You know what I'm saying? So I bring this to your attention because
No, in science we always have this problem. In fact, in dealing with the physiology of the human body, you run into a lot of problems. And the way studies are designed, I mean, they have courses on this in graduate school. You take scientific design because it's always a controversial. The more parameters you're dealing with and trying to, the mere fact of measurement interferes with a pathway. And so the mere fact that you put a probe in or is some kind of analytical device in a pathway, you modify the pathway. So man is not just simply a simple observer. By the mere fact of design, you often disturb the pathway. And so you have to make certain assumptions, conclusions, and that's why outcomes, often because we put so much weight on outcomes, and it seems to me, I'm absolutely convinced that when you take the EPA and DHA, the outcomes, for the most part, are very positive. It's not to say there aren't some negative outcomes. All I want to do is say, is there some balance here? I mean, these are natural substances. We don't want to pillory them. But on the other hand, your solution is to go to something called flaxseed oil. And I have a mental block about linseed oil because it was always used as paint, and somebody got the idea that they could use it as a supplement, okay? It's very easily oxidized or peroxidized. Why would you depend on a substance that's so easily oxidized to be the remedy for a situation? And I would even bring this up to Ed Kane. Now, as long as you can package it in nitrogen and you take all these steps, then I would say maybe you have a good supplement. But I think linseed or flax is a very dangerous supplement because of its potential to be oxidized or peroxidized.
Well, I'm going to allow you to I'll pose the question to Ed about this oxidation issue because as a parent oil, I actually think that they do not oxidize, okay, that taken as in the parent form, no, it isn't oxidized.
Well, the parent form is in the form of a seed. If you eat the seed,
yeah, that's right.
As soon as you extract this oil, you got a problem on your hands.
I'm going to allow. We're going to let that one stew. I think.
Okay.
I don't think I have the ability to describe the oxidation component of flaxseed oil and look at it in the same context you do. So let's shelve it for now. I'm going to say that the use of a ratio of 4-to-1 of linoleic to alpha-linoleic is an appropriate combination in terms of providing parent oils versus these derivatives, and I'll allow the oxidation issue to be answered by the experts because I'm not.
Well, when we talked about LDL, what was your mantra about LDL? It's not LDL, it's oxidized LDL.
That's exactly right. Now what I'm learning about oxidized LDL is that the oxidized LDL is coming from derivatives and not from parents. In other words, what I didn't know at the time is that if we don't take these. Do you know anybody who's slamming down primrose oil that you know? How about sunflower oil? How about safflower oil? You know anybody?
Well, these are not natural to man's diet, I don't think, at least not to the Western Hemisphere.
Well, no, but they are parent omega-6s.
Yes, they're parent omega-6s, but
her parent.
What in nature, the Paleolithic diet is nuts and seeds, but I don't think they're flax seeds or sunflower. Well, there may be sunflower seeds. Safflower seeds, I don't think you're going to encounter them too often. But I like to think of the Paleolithic diet as being a pathway to where the healthy oils might be.
I think the way to look at the Paleolithic diet is in the absence of industry and processing.
Yes.
Everything that you ate, seeds, nuts, fruits, the meats, everything in the absence of processing was absolutely a healthy substance. And it was
Right.
only since the processing, and the point I was going to make about oxidized LDL is,
As soon as your teeth break through the integument of the seed, you've changed the whole, the chemistry begins. Okay.
okay,
All right.
we got good concept. We'll bring up this flaxseed oil to Ed when we bring him on board in the Paskin. We'll find out how
I
that
look
goes.
forward to it, and thank you for your show.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your contribution. As you can see, controversy continues to rage, and I'm glad you're out there, folks. Keep on knocking on the door. We got another knock on the door. Come on in the store. Hello, and welcome aboard. What's on your mind? Hello.
Dr. Courtney.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I wasn't know if I was up yet. I've caught bits and pieces of different shows over the past couple months here. A lot of talk about oils. One that I hadn't heard mentioned, maybe I missed it, was grapeseed oil. And I was wondering if you could, perhaps in one of these, having one of these experts on regarding oils and its effect on cholesterol. From what I've read, grapeseed oil, I've used it in cooking. It's very stable, works very well, but it's from what I've read, it definitely lowers the LDL and raises the HDL. And so I'm hoping that you guys will address grapeseed oil.
Yeah, the issue of grapeseed oil is in the category of those oils which can be heated. You know, that appears that whenever frying is part of American diet. Food fries so many things. But in using the processed oils, we literally are playing with a loaded wick, and we are going to have health consequences for any of the oils. When you walk down that aisle and you see all these clear-looking oils with all the various names on them, they're all processed, and they all literally turn into toxic substances the moment you put heat to them. Now, these other oils that have the ability to hold up under heat, things like coconut oil, grapeseed oil, hemp oil, these are appropriate for frying, although there is a taste that goes along with those oils that sometimes is disagreeable. But the fact that the oil holds up under heat is what the appropriate, and it's a natural, it's not a processed oil, makes it a better sought after way. If you're going to cook and you're going to fry and you're going to heat, you better be using these forms of the oils, natural oils, not processed oils, that don't break down and don't turn into the plastics right in the very pan and skillet that you're using to fry whatever you're frying in. Okay?
Right.
So that's
I've seen and I regularly buy the Vegenaise brand salad dressing, sandwich spread. They have a grapeseed oil-based product that's very good tasting, substitute for mayonnaise or salad dressing oil. But the grapeseed oil, I've been surprised, does not have an objectionable taste. Almost has no taste whatsoever.
well,
I've been very happy with it.
very good.
So.
Glad you mentioned it. Certainly one of the parent forms of oils and able to withstand heat. We'll mention it to either of our guests, either Ed Kane or Brian Peskin, as the month rolls on. Keep on listening.
Thanks.
Okay, absolutely wonderful. Okay. We've got a minute or two to go. If you want to get in on this as we are coming toward the end, go right ahead, 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. And this thing with fish oils, yes, we have opened up a can of worms. The body has no metabolic pathway to deal with EPA and DHA. That is a scientific fact you cannot get around. And so no matter what may be the beneficial effect, it's like we were using the description of the gentleman who may have a inflamed knee who takes fish oil and feels better, you can still get to the same level of relief by taking the appropriate oil. You've never done so. You have never taken this 4-to-1 mixture. And so I'm saying that you can get the same effect by taking the right oils as opposed to the wrong oils and have none of the consequences. Anyway, knock on the door, come on the store. Hello, welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Hey, Doc, I think the argument's been settled.
Oh, it has?
It has. And you can go to Mercola's site and look up his grass-fed beef, and he advertises it as having the perfect ratio of 4-to-1, 6-to-3.
You know why it does, by the way, the grass-fed beef? I know you're not going to know the answer, David. You know why?
Why, Doc?
I mean, because meat traditionally would be considered strictly omega-6, right?
Right? But they feed it corn.
Because that's right. They're lot-fed, they feed it corn. If you have grass-fed animals, you are having these animals getting and ingesting plant sources of all the oils. Because cows have 4 stomachs, they get every single nutrient from every morsel of every plant that they consume. And unlike a human who can't do that, we really can't get through all the fiber to get all the nutrients. A cow can. And where's that stuff going to end up? All those omega-3s, which are coming from plants, all those omega-3s are going to end up in the meat of the cow.
Amazing, huh?
And that's why
Huda.
one of the major sources of omega-3s could be and is beef, but it has to be grass-fed.
Absolutely.
If you get it grass-fed, you will have the right ratio at 4-to-1. You'll have it.
We're talking about the cooking oils. I go in my icebox and I pull out the little container, glass container with some saran wrap over it. Has tape on it that Faith put there back in April, 4/11. And here it's on it is oxtail. It's basically tallow made from oxtail. She did this last April, and that's what we cook with.
And you cook with it. I never heard the substance before. I'm interested in about as much as I can find out about it.
It's the best oil to cook with, and the best mayonnaise that I pull out there is safflower mayonnaise. Hanes makes it. Fortunately, Giant Eagle, you can only get the canola mayonnaise at their natural section, but if you go to the Co-op or Whole Foods, anywhere else, any other health food store like Sunnybridge, you can get safflower mayonnaise.
All right.
Wonderful.
You're right at the gong. That's great information. We march on. I'll see you. Have a great weekend, folks. David, have a great weekend. We'll be back next week with Boom on Wednesday and Joy Brownstein on Monday. Till then, Dr. Courtney saying so long for AM Impact on your health.
AM Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, M.D., Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, M.D.